Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, viewers of all ages, welcome to The Void. It's that time again. Every 2 weeks, we get 3 limited time free items, and they just dropped today, so let's take a look at what we've got here. Before we get started, I want to talk about something that's near and dear to my heart, and that is 3 months ago, I released my very first tool on Fab called Keep the Change. And Keep the Change is a payment processing system meant to be used in simulators mostly, but it could be used with any sort of merchant system where it's not necessary to give your player change back. You just accept the payment and go. It's 100% done in blueprints and heavily commented to teach you how to code along the way. So it sort of aids you into integration. I don't just drop you off with an asset. I actually teach you how to blend it with what you're already working on. So that's the one product that I've released. Now, sales have been pretty dismal since its release. 5 sales earners is nothing to frown at. Of course, I'm not frowning at that. However, Epic does have this rule that states that you're not allowed to cash out until you've crossed the threshold. I believe for me that threshold is going to be 100 USD. And as you can see, I haven't met that yet. So it was released in March, and yeah, I still haven't met the threshold. So I thought I'd share it with you guys, get the word out. Now, don't feel obligated to buy it. If you cannot make use of it, that's completely alright. But if you do, know that it will be greatly appreciated. You guys can get the word out, pass it to your friends, and I'll be eternally grateful. Don't feel obligated to buy it if you can't make use of it, though. Just know that I appreciate anything you can do. Also, if you do buy it, please go ahead and leave an honest review. I don't have any rating systems yet, but leaving an honest review can actually help me make more tools in the future, and it'll help me understand how my tools are actually being used, so I can tailor any future tools that I make towards the way that people are using these. So thanks for listening. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. It's time to go over the new Fab free asset showcase for this week, and let me tell you, I was completely blown away. I don't know what it is, but I am still working on the same project I mentioned 2 weeks ago, and they just keep giving me things that go along with this project, things that I can use specifically for this project. So we're actually going to start off with the Medieval Sewer Dungeon by NM Studios, and let me tell you, this asset is phenomenal. It's perfect for what I need. It's not hyper stylized, but it's also not hyper realistic either. It's definitely something that I'm gonna have to like throw a shader over, but it's what I need for this new project, because I don't want to give it away or anything, but you kind of end up in the dungeon in the game and you have to escape from it. So before the game starts, so that's really cool. That's I'm just blown away that every 2 weeks I get an asset to build on top of this project, and it matches so much to what I'm working on. I'm sorry if you're not currently working on something like that. They have been giving us a lot of like medieval and stylized things, but it fits the bill for me, and I'm absolutely enjoying it. So first free asset is this Medieval Sewer Dungeon, and let's see. Basically, you've got the nice damage to the brick wall, which I love. That gives you a lot of variation. You have little different assets. Now, I will say that when was this created? It was created this year. From the images that they took, I'm hoping it looks a bit better in game, and obviously you can also, mess with your settings and your light and everything to make it look a bit better. Doesn't look as high detail to me from the pictures that they're advertising in, but all that can change when you definitely go inside the project and have a look at it. Oh, this corridor is really nice. You could make yourself like just a maze of corridors here that the player has to get out of. Okay, we've got old time ladder. It doesn't really seem like they give you many scatter assets, but obviously this is going to be a pack that you combine with a few other things to make. Right, you're not just going to drop this down and say it's a scene in itself, right? You're going to combine it with some other medieval assets that you might have, add your touches to it. But this is a good little asset kit, and even if you don't catch it for free, like if you're watching this video a little bit late, the set was like it was very cheap, right? I think no more than $20, I believe. I don't see the pricing here because I already own the asset, but if I recall correctly, it's an inexpensive set. So those are going to be the asset for the medieval sewer dungeon, and look at that beautiful maze that you can make. But again, the pictures were kind of low quality, so I'm actually going to jump into it and see what it looks like in first person. Okay, and I'll be walking through the demo scene here. Let's do that. Full screen. Okay. Alright. Looking nice. Okay. I didn't notice the broken glass bottles. You can use that for anything. That's another thing that I love about these kits. Like, even though it's designed for medieval, you don't have to use it for medieval. It's like we haven't designed different styles of tunnels since the medieval time, you know? So this could still be used for anything modern. You would just swap out your lanterns and things. Just swap those out with, you know, modern day assets. Run some cording in here to make it show that there's electricity running through. You don't have to use this for medieval, and that's what I like about these little mix and match kits. They're definitely versatile. I feel very, very tiny, or this door feels very, very huge. But okay. It looks great. As far as atmosphere goes, it looks nice. I'm not a fan of the running water, but you'd be in the sewer for the most part. The water down here would either be splashing out of this and wouldn't be running that way, or if the sewer is inactive, it would be still water, like slimy, grimy still water. But that's cool. Let's go ahead this way. It seems most of the assets are here. Okay, that's that damage in the wall that I was talking about. It seems to be like a built-in piece. It's not like a decal or anything. But I'm wondering if I just change the style of brick, would it still look good? Or you could just use that for anything, really. Okay, that's pretty cool. I find this to be a decent set. And hey, it is free. I'm sure you can find something to do with this in your game. Even if you're not using the tunnels themselves, the assets here. Like, I thought these were pretty cool. The skull and bones sitting there. You've got your torches on the wall. Different little pieces of wood stuck there. I don't know, this is definitely a good kit. Be used for anything. One thing that I will say that I do like is that it provides all of the arch support here. I had this, and look, they're all shaped differently, so it's got the different arch pieces. I had this other tunnel, and it was, I don't even know how to explain it, but there was like there was this back face culling problem, and then the arch wasn't, you couldn't just use an individual arch piece. It was sort of like connected to this like long tunnel, so you were forced to use the shape exactly as that designer had designed it. Like, you couldn't do your own style of tunnel. It was the strangest thing. And then the arch pieces, I don't even think there were arch pieces. There was this it was the back face to another interior wall piece, and it was chopped up in weird bits, but the bits weren't individual. And I just ended up not being able to use the asset because they didn't give me a full arch here. They gave like a curved half piece, and then all up top was like flat. It wasn't part of the curve, and I just think perhaps they didn't understand how to do a tunnel. But you've got this arch here, but then you come down here, you can tell that this has an arch piece, but that arch piece also curves around, and you have the outer arch curve and the inner arch curve here. Just, if you haven't sat there and struggled trying to put other people's like pieces together like a puzzle, you have no idea how beneficial it is to have that full arch here. And then they even have like the corner turn arch. The other pieces I had, they didn't even know how to do the corner turn, so on corners it was like just a straight up shot, and it kind of connected to this piece that was like half arched, and this was straight up, and then the ceiling was flat. It was weird. They tried, I suppose, but it was a no for me. This is a definite yes. This is a really fantastic asset. Great job, NM Studios. All right, let's move on to the next piece. All right, next up we've got A Day at the Beach by So Art. This one I wasn't really too sure about. Not certain I'm gonna be able to use it, but it is a good set of rocks for a background. It says Day at the Beach, but it doesn't really look like sand. Let's see. These are the images that they took. They didn't take full screen images, but basically you get a giant rock. Okay. It looks a lot different in the overview. I didn't know what I was staring at, but here's the overview of this. They give you a few different rocks there, and then they should have an overview of the little circles they give as well. And that's the polygons for it. This one I guess I was the least enthusiastic about, I would say. But let's go ahead and look at the full screen view of that. So this is the overview, and this is kind of what I'm talking about. I didn't know what I was looking at. It just looked like giant circles of puddles of, I thought it was supposed to be rocks or sand. I'm not entirely sure what this is on the ground. It doesn't look right. Something's off. This is not a scene I built out by myself. Reflection captures need to be rebuilt. That's okay. I'm not worried about that. This is their overview that they've put out themselves, and I'm looking at it like, what? I thought it was a puddle of dung for a second. Oh yeah, I need to up the, yeah. It's not optimized. This is their overview. I should be able to pull in and just look at it right immediately. I'm not lagging, but you can see that the textures clearly haven't properly loaded in. Let's see. Do they have another? Let me see if I can do anything about, they wanted to rebuild the reflection. I should just, should I build everything? Preview quality. Can we get a little bit of a high quality? And then alright, so he wanted me to rebuild the reflection captures. I said 8 of them. I hope that helps. I want to look at this properly, but if it doesn't show up properly, I mean, it probably won't be something that I end up using as anything other than the background anyway. Yeah, mine looks nothing like that. I didn't even have that base sand with the squigglies on the ground. It's got a 5.0 rating. I'm sure they're pretty decent rocks. I wonder if they're scanned. Okay, so they didn't hand do them. They just went out and probably used a drone and scanned a picture of some rocks. You know what? They look just as blurry here. Not just as, but they look a bit blurry here, the same as they did in the preview that I was looking at. So they're not even showing up like proper on their own preview. This looks nice. This is a nice picture here. You've got your little depth of field here, and you can see the focus about right there, and then I don't know. I don't think it's such a big deal for something that's going to be in the background anyway. Definitely not a piece that I would use up close. But yeah, that's Day at the Beach. Day by the Beach, because there's no water, by So.Art. So grab it if you could use it. I personally think Quixel Megascans has a lot of rocks that you can use, and I feel like they are a bit nicer than the ones here. So I really don't, even if I'm doing an outdoor scene, I don't really spend much time looking for rocks or trying to do anything, or trying to like pay or put out money for rocks. or dirt or something like that that's not even going to be the main focal point or that's going to be glossed over in the scene anyway. But if you're into rocks or cliffs or you need them for your project, go on and grab them. They are free for the next 2 weeks, and we're going to jump in to that third and final thing. And I believe I've saved the best for last because we have here a sci-fi dog. Look at that pupper. He's so adorable. This is a sci-fi dog by Shimney. Okay. All right. This is an ultra robotic dog. Look at that. And it wasn't just that the dog was cool looking or anything. The minute I saw this dog, I saw 100 different skins. I know it says 4 skin options. I saw 100 different color variations that I myself could design for this dog. Oh, it's so cool. So he already has 25 animations baked into it. But if you're any good at animating, of course, you can make your own. And the one thing is robots and things like that, anything that's like hard surface, is a bit easier to animate than something that let's say like more fluid surface, because they kind of think about like a hinge. They kind of rotate on a hinge, making it super easy for you to animate. You know, where you've got a human arm, say you're trying to animate a human arm, you've got to animate the arm and how all the muscle groups pull. But when it's something that's robotic, you just rotate. To animate the robot's arm, you rotate this, which if they're connected correctly, this is going to rotate all of that, and it just makes it so much easy. So I actually recommend anyone starting to learn animation start out with trying to understand animation through working with robots before they do anything that's soft body. So emissive material, okay, so he can glow in the dark as well. Look how cool that looks. And you know, one thing about I like about this is that they actually gave us a white version of the animal. I want to say 4 weeks ago, we had these little dragons that they gave us, and they also had different color variations, but they didn't give us a blank one to color on and design our own colors. And I was so upset. I'm like, so what I did is I took one of the lighter colors, turned it to grayscale. But all of that did was I was able to do my own colors for it, but it ended up making all of the other ones look darker because I had to grayscale it first. But this is so cool. I am super excited about this dog. So apparently, yeah, so they do give us a skin gray material so that we can actually do color variations if we want to, and it looks like they're separate materials, so it doesn't have anything to do, it doesn't override the emissive if I color it like that. That is super exciting, guys. Look at that custom skeleton for that dog. Can I pet that dog? Oh yeah, I'm super excited about the sci-fi dog. And the funny thing is, I'm not currently working on a sci-fi project, but this dog has made me so excited that I would just animate it just for fun. Alright, so it's got different animations, it can run, and again, since it's robotic, it's going to be super easy to make additional animations for it. Let's have a look at the skeleton. Okay. Right. Okay. And one of the hardest things to learn animation, what I found with my students when I was teaching animation in Blender, was weight painting and skin weight. And when you start to understand animation, trying to understand skin weights on top of all of that is really heavy. So that's why I always encourage people to start animating with robotic things like this, because you don't have to worry about skin weights. And skin weight is just like how much weight, if you rotate one bone, how much weight from the other bones or muscle groups are going to pull towards that bone that you're rotating. Robots are all hard bodies, and they can only rotate at their hinge, so you don't have to worry about skin weights or anything like that. I just think this dog looks awesome. You know, I wanted a robot dog when I was a kid. They had these little ones that came out that did like little flips, but then one of my friends had gotten one first, and it didn't really flip. It tried to do the jump, and then it just laid down on this flat. It was so underwhelming that I no longer, I didn't want it anymore. It was so weird. I don't even remember. I think it had like a light up face. It was like a LCD screen or whatnot, but You know, it was cute. I think it was like gray and teal or something like that. It was a cute dog until it didn't do its tricks. But you know, that was the beginning of technology. I'm sure we've got dogs that can do all of the kinds of flips and things now. And here's our pupper. Alright, let's go. We're gonna try. Oh man. I'm just gonna walk around. They're all gonna animate. They're gonna animate all at the same time, but we can walk around and look. First thing I notice, right? Let's full screen this. First thing I notice is how poor pupper playing dead. Oh, what is happening? Am I on it? I thought I was flying over because it's got like flyover controls, but I guess I have a body as well. Okay, so that's him falling. That's him tripping and looks like he's stumbling, I guess. Oh, there's something going on with this animation here, though. You can see the arm is going through the body. Oh, that's going to take a lot of tweaking, yeah. This arm rotates out of the body. It's twisting in a way, it's twisting outwards, which is something you wouldn't think a robot dog would do. It's kind of twisting outwards like it's a real dog, but the hinges make it look like it can only twist forward and back. The animations, I'm glad that it includes 25 animations, but these animations are going to need some work. That one is sinking through the ground where it shouldn't be. Right? The base of the rig, none of your parts should go past the base of the rig, which would be at the front paw. Okay, the animations need some work. Oh, I'm on top of it again. I don't think I'm going to be able to pass through and look at them all directly. Oh no, and it's not a looping animation either. You see how he turns to look and then immediately jumps back to the beginning of the animation? Why not make him rotate back? He's looking around, make him rotate back, not jump back. Alright, the next one, I'm not able to get through. Okay. The next one is him just walking. Again, the animations are going through the body. And he looks soft. He doesn't look robotic. It looks like they tried to animate a softer body. I get it. Okay, he's running. That animation looks really bad. The running animation does not look right. Again, it's like they're trying to make a real dog and not a robotic dog. That's okay. I mean, I can animate, so it sucks that I would have to be animated them all. Or actually, I can just edit the ones that he already has and make it look more realistic. It's good because in you know, ever since 5.5, now on 5.6, they've actually given us a lot more modeling and a lot better responsive modeling and animation tools that allow us to do stuff in Project. Like, they're trying to get us to do like everything in Project, and I think that's really good because in 5.6 you can do your workflow for animating gets a little bit quicker. So it sucks that I get a product and I have to animate it myself when it's supposed to come with the animations, but it's also free. So if you want to use it for some practice or something like that, that'd be good as well. This walk cycle is wrong. It's sliding all over the place. Maybe he's walking on a treadmill. Yeah. Let's see this one. Oh, this was a good boy. He's just sitting at attention. Oh no. Wait a second. I can't look any lower. What's wrong with that back leg? Oh no. Okay. I see how it's folded down. Okay. Row 3. Yeah, the design of the dog is really great. That's all I can say. It doesn't look like this person's that great with animations, and that's okay. Yeah, the feet are sliding around, and that's one thing that makes animations like really, really bad looking is when the adjustment of your contact point shifts slightly. That contact point is what sells the realism when it comes to animation. And to me, his contact points are all over the place. And this jumping, you can tell it's like just resetting. Instead of him falling down at the end of the jump cycle, it's clearly like resetting the jump animation over and over. So he like snaps down to the beginning of the animation again. That's a little weird. There's a good one. The idol right here. This idol animation right here is pretty good. Okay. That's a good idol animation. I like it. Is he swimming? Oh, I'm stuck on one again. Is he swimming? Or is he eating? Is he eating? No, his feet are kicking. I think he's trying to swim. Or shove a bunch of food in his mouth. I don't know. I'm sorry. Oh no, that just looks like he's glitching. Was that supposed to be like the start of a jump? That just looks like a glitch. See, this is kind of why I take a deep dive into each of these assets before I post them. Like, hey, here's what you can get for free, because sometimes, uh, there's errors and things, and I love the dog. I love the design. I'm definitely going to be able to use it and color it and make a whole bunch of different variations, but I'm going to have to animate it myself, and that's just that. I've seen, out of the 25, I think I've seen 3 good animations here. I don't know what that one's doing. Yeah, 3 animations that are okay. The ones where his feet don't actually move is cool, but like take this one for instance. Even though his feet doesn't move, it doesn't look like those limbs are meant to move outwards like that based on how the joint appears to be connected. Unless there's like some kind of axle rod in there. I don't know. Let's suspend disbelief for a moment. Alright, so I wouldn't say this is the best asset. And honestly, I'm underwhelmed this week by the free assets. But again, they're free. Well, I guess I don't even want to say that, because just because something's free doesn't mean it has to be low quality, doesn't mean you shouldn't put any effort into it. And it's not free forever. It's only free for a limited time as something that they do. So outside of it being free, this is an asset that you chose to sell online, and the quality just isn't there. The quality of the dog is cool looking, awesome looking. I didn't even notice it had horns. Do they all have horns? They're not horns. Are they horns? Ears? They're curved backwards like horns? It didn't look like it here. Perhaps they have a different variation of ears that you can... No, they look like horns from that way. But okay, right? The dog looks really cool. The animations just aren't there for it, for me. So even if it wasn't free, I'd probably still buy it if it was a decent price, just because the dog looks cool. But that is the highlight of this asset. Those animations need a little bit more work. That's going to be it for the free assets. They are free for the next 2 weeks, so get them while they're still free if you can use them. I mean, I'm sure you can always find a use for something, including the dogs here, so that's really cool. Thank you so much, Fab, for having these free assets for us every 2 weeks, and post a comment to let me know what you plan on doing with the assets that are free this week, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.